Hey everyone, today for another vlog. So this is the second one that we're at the third week, so I'm a bit behind in terms of, one vlog a week, but it's fine, you know. So so far it hasn't been greatest ever period in terms of like growth and productivity and whatnot, but this is kind of the theme of today's vlog, which is never giving up. Which is easy to say, but obviously much harder to do in practice. But there's one thing for sure, which is something I've noticed. It's pretty weird, and when you kind of look for it, it becomes quite apparent that a lot of people they just stop. Like they just stop at some point. I'm not exactly sure why. I'm not really interested in understanding why today. But one thing for sure is that sometimes you see some really good stuff on the internet, whether it is YouTube channels or blogs or whatever, just great stuff. And then the person just stops, and I'm not really sure what happens. It's you know, if I had to come up with reasons just quickly, it would probably because the person is doing something else, or maybe real life catching up. Maybe something happened. I don't know. Maybe they just want to do something else, and they don't want to tell their audience whatever. But I wonder how many of those people quit who stop. They also just kind of burn out, right? Like they quit because well, I'm not exactly sure what the causes of burnout are, but I would say the main reason for people burning out would probably be something like the amount of effort is starting to overweigh the amount of reward they get from the thing, and also like they put really high expectations on themselves after a few years. Usually, the people who burn out are never like the people who barely get anything done. Right? It's usually people who are somewhat like at least in at the intermediate level, like advanced level, and I feel like they just build up all those expectations around their work that it becomes very difficult to get anything done, or like they kind of become scared or whatever. But yeah, that's kind of the quick overview of what I imagine what happens when people give up. But I think the key lesson is just the importance of having a clear direction in life and to literally just never give up, right? Because in life it's very rare that like someone outside of yourself is the one who puts you out of the race, so to speak. We could debate whether framing things as a race is useful or accurate, but that's besides the point. I don't think it's always accurate, but I think there's some value to it. But I think in general, yeah, it's the only person who can really like take you out of a goal really is yourself most of the time. Like pretty much always, honestly. Like mm, obviously there are definitely careers that are not possible outside a certain age, where like sports and whatnot, they require a very specific time period to be the best. But even then, like maybe you can't like be the best at basketball in like your late 30s, early 40s, and afterwards. But like I don't see why you couldn't play basketball, right? But like obviously you would have to be a much more cautious with your body, and because the joints are getting weaker and whatnot. But I don't know. I'm not really knowledgeable about sports, but there are many activities that you can just keep doing basically for as long as you can move your body. Like I draw and I write. Uh, I don't really write fiction, I just write tweets. So I'm not really sure. Okay, let's just say I draw and I tweet. Right? So that's what I do on the internet, and I could do those things as long as I have access to my hands and eyes, basically. Even if I lose both of my legs, I could do those things. And yeah, for me it's definitely a matter of like never quitting. First of all, like that for me, that's kind of the baseline of my uh general plan towards financial independence and living a more free and authentic life. It's literally to just never give up. Um, which is again easier said than done. I'm definitely one of those people that gets quite impatient and always tries to uh, play another game, and I'm not really the person that is like persistent and super consistent, but this is the intent, at least, is to of this period. Even that's kind of the intent behind the red is this energy of always of picking one direction and just sticking with it for a long time. That's kind of the energy I get from the color red. And uh right now it's not the most amazing period. in my life. It's not really bad either, but that's kind of something to I need to remind myself. I'm not a fan of my job. It's quite draining in terms of time and mostly energy. But at least I'm getting money, right? Money which I'm not spending on anything dumb. I haven't really spent. I don't think I've spent much more. I don't think I spent more than 50 euros since I've started my job, which was 5 months ago now. 5 months and a few days. And by 50 euros, I mean like outside of the food, right? Because my job pays me money and also pays me money that I can only use on food. So it's like I'm not really sure what's the term in English, but yeah, it's outside of the necessities, I've only spent 50 euros is what I'm saying. So at least that's a very big progress, right? Because compared to some people are, they would be in my situation, they would spend a lot more money, and therefore it would be more difficult to reach financial independence. But I wouldn't even describe myself as a frugal person because I guess I am frugal, right? I was gonna say I'm not. I guess the word that doesn't describe is minimalist because to me the term minimalist kind of it's already kind of an inversion of some of a bad quality, right? Because it's assuming that what is normal is to spend a lot of your things on things that are not really needed, and so like to put yourself as a minimalist is kind of saying that you're different. Well, in my opinion, that really should be the norm. In my opinion, minimalist should be the norm, but that's my opinion. So I'm simply not really interested in material things. Right? So I will buy a tool and spend money on it if it's important. But outside of that, I'm not really keen on spending money for distraction and entertainment. Yeah. So yeah, I plan on not giving up. And what am I planning to do essentially? Well, the main thing in my life, which I've recognized to be the most important thing for me, is to lead an authentic life. That's the quality of life I would want. Is to be really authentic to myself and to not live the type of life that other people tell me to. And so for me, one key aspect of it is making money outside of a 9 to 5 job. And to be more specific, the things that I'm interested in right now are drawing and yeah, tweeting. So art and sharing my thoughts on internet. And I guess the third aspect I've come to appreciate now is like developing genuine relationships with other people. So when I was younger, I don't think I was really conscious how important for me relationships were. But looking back, it's a bit special, right? So I would say I'm not interested in most people. Like that's quite clearly the case. I'm not interested in the small talk really either. But I think I'm very interested in like developing deeper relationship with people right now. So having uh, good friends and perhaps having a partner. I'm not sure. I don't know. But like those deeper relationships, I think those to me are clearly important and meaningful in life. And I think I don't really function well without them because that's kind of how I've been through most of my life, as a child and as a teenager, especially. And I don't think I was doing particularly well in life in terms of the emotional and personal life. Like maybe in school I was doing fine in terms of the grades, but emotionally I was kind of a wreck. And I can definitely recognize that it's kind of not possible to do things in life by yourself, and I don't think people even should try, honestly. I think people should rather focus on like finding the right people rather than just isolating themselves, because I don't know, like I don't think we are meant to live by ourselves, right? I also don't think we're meant to live with like with what I would consider over socialization, which is just spending very shallow time with a lot of people. I don't think that's also not how we're meant to live. Okay, that's not really true. I don't think that's how I am meant to live it. So let me just make this personal and make this more intellectually honest. I don't think that's how I would enjoy living life. But maybe some people do. I don't know. Obviously, some people are very different, and maybe for some people that's the kind of thing they need. But yeah, relationships are very important. So the trifecta for me is kind of art, sharing thoughts, and you know, authentic relationships. And I guess the key point of my life is that I really want to be myself and not let the modern world like override my soul. I'm tempted to say yeah, not override my soul because even though I don't really believe in souls, but actually I don't know how to describe it. Even though I've never really been interested in souls, I can I can definitely see how some people are like in touch with themselves, and some people are simply not. And so I guess that's kind of the best approximation I have for what people describe as souls. It's like some people are definitely like, much more comfortable being themselves and much more in touch with what they want and so on. Which is, I guess, it's not really the soul, right? It's more like the the ego. Like it's not really like, well, I guess it's more like the higher ego, right? More than, but it's not really like the God self or whatever. But it's, I guess it's one part of the soul, which is just the authentic part of us, which is the part that is not tempered by all these all this social pressure and all these I don't know, just propaganda ideas that are spread around about how to live. Like it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy how much pressure there is for people to live a certain way, and when in reality most of those things don't matter, right? Like people spend a lot of time and energy arguing about things that basically don't matter in my experience. Like I feel like people barely talk about the things that really matter, which is like, um trauma and death and being yourself and finding joy and fulfillment. And instead, people just talk about like those really dumb things, like like what car do you buy, what car do you drive, and what job, like what 9 to 5 job do you have, as if it the fucking matters, or like what political opinion you had. And I don't know, I feel like people just spend the time really arguing about pointless thing, in my opinion. But obviously, I'm not pretending to understand people as a whole, but I'm not interested in those things at least. So yeah, I don't plan on giving up. I might go slowly in some periods of my life. I might, doubt myself, but I will not give up on this direction in life. It's too important for me. Like, and I also don't see why I would give up, honestly. Like, why would I give up? Even if it gets difficult, like, I don't see what else there would be for me to do in life other than just, doing art and sharing ideas and talking with people. I really don't see what else I could be doing. But obviously, I'm open to possibilities, right? But like, at least, at least I know that if I wanted to do something else in my life, it would still be in the same direction, which is to be authentic about it and to share about it. So, even if I make a huge change in my life, I doubt that would be the case. But even if it does happen, I know that it would have the same quality regardless. It might be like a different shape, but it would be like of the same material, so to speak. And yeah, and that's about everything I had to say for today. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.